Picked up a little Savage 64 FXP 22 long rifle. Pretty cool. Fairly inexpensive gun, but as nice as it is, I do have some issues with the magazine. And primary one is the release button. It's in front. It's just really awkward. You have to push it forward. It's pretty hard to do with one hand. I'll probably add a little lever or something later to make it easier. That and inserting. Tend to want to put it in at the angle that it resides at, but it hits the ramp on the release button and pushes the back of the magazine at the back of the hole, and it's got a square edge, and that's got a square edge, and it bonks. Plus the inner corners are square. Next time I have the gun apart to clean it, I'm going to round all those corners off so that it doesn't bonk them when it's trying to insert the magazine. The other issue with this magazine, well actually there's a couple, is the ramp. It's got a machined ramp, the bullet tips hit and go up in, but the bottom edge is really sharp, and the tips would hit that and then jam. They didn't want to slide past that break. It's simple enough to pull it apart and get a little round file and clean up that lower edge so that the bullets want to travel up it. You just use a couple towels, lay it down. There's a lip on the bottom plate. Just whack it until it comes loose, and the bottom plate will slide right out. Little spring, and it doesn't matter which way the spring goes in on this magazine. Anyway, just use a small round file and round off that break so that the bullets don't hit it, they'll travel on up. The other issue is loading it. The rim of the cartridge, other than you're pushing down the previous cartridge or the next cartridge, it's a round surface pushing a round surface. Invariably it goes to one side or the other, and the face of the cartridge will hit those two faces on the top of the magazine, and it just doesn't want to go in, and you're pushing and fighting it. So same thing, just taking a small flat file and rounding off those inside edges, so when the cartridge goes in there, it tends to want to go in the middle instead of just hitting that square edge and just stopping. And that's pretty easy to do. You just round those off inside. You don't want to mess with the two faces on the top. Let's get that over here. Yeah. Just the inside faces, edges of. Let's see if I can get it better. Yeah. These two faces. That's where it hits. Rounding those off makes it a lot easier to, especially after the 8th round, it gets really tight. And you're having to push really hard to get the compress the spring, and then you're hitting the square faces, and it shouldn't be that hard. Rounding those off, they'll slide in a lot easier. Lastly was the spring. Like I said, that after the 8th round it gets really tight. I cut off about 3/8 of an inch off the spring and then restretched it back to the same length. A lot of guys just leave them parked full of cartridges so that the spring sets with a little less tension, but I'm impatient. But rounding off that ramp, rounding off the inside of the 2 V cuts, again, don't mess with the gap between these 2 faces on the top. That's what holds the cartridge until it reaches that cut. But anyway, rounding off those inside edges, rounding off the ramp, play with the spring if you want to, just makes this cartridge a lot easier magazine to use. Other than that, it's a fun little gun. You can either shoot a few thousand rounds and wait for it to self-break in, or drag out your little mini files and fix it. Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention also on the back edge is rounding that off so it doesn't catch when you're inserting into the receiver. And the very front edge is pretty sharp so it doesn't dig into the ramp or the release button. Just makes it easier to insert. Enjoy.